Hello, everyone. Bonjour. Good morning, everyone. If you don't mind, please, will you mind coming in the room and grab a seat as our conference will resume in a couple of minutes. If you can just join us in the big room. You can bring your lunch. Thank you so much for being here today. In just a couple of minutes, we are starting, so just have a seat and feel comfy. We will enjoy our beautiful time today celebrating Black excellence. Thank you. We know a lot of you speak French. I spoke with a couple of people speaking French there and there. So, ne vous inquiétez pas, nous allons avoir un événement bilingue ce matin. On va s'assurer que tout le monde puisse profiter au maximum de cette magnifique journée. Donc, l'événement sera animé aussi bien en anglais qu'en français. Et donc, vous pourrez profiter de chacune des belles petites qui seraient partagées ici. And it will be an honor for me. So I'm Eunice Boo. I'm going to be your MC for the day. So it will be a pleasure for me to be hosting the event. So do not hesitate. If you have any question, you can just call me and I will be here to serve you today. Thank you so much. What a great day, right? To celebrate Black excellence, right? Merci beaucoup à chacun d'entre vous. Thank you so much to all of you for being here this morning. And it's been a rough morning. Somebody says there is a lot of traffic in the TTC, something, yeah? And we are so pleased having all of you here. Welcome to everyone joining us in the moment. We are very happy having you here with us today. And in just a couple of minutes, everything will be starting. It is a beautiful time today, and we have wonderful panelists coming to entertain us and to share some beautiful insights about digital economy in Canada. So, and I'm not going to reveal anything, but we have a special guest. Shh. A very special guest coming for us today. I'm on the picture now. I saw the lady and I was like, she was looking at me and laughing. And I was like, why is she laughing? And then she turned her head and started laughing. I'm like, okay, let me see what she's laughing for. That's why you were laughing? It's so funny. Yes, I am the CEO of U Event. It's a communication and event agency. So I'm MC. It's a pleasure for me to be here. And thank you to projecting the picture. So again, mesdames et messieurs, si vous êtes encore à l'extérieur, if you guys are still outside, please join us here. Come inside, have a seat. As in a couple of minutes now, we are starting our conference, our event. So please join us here in the big room. You can bring your breakfast, it's okay. You can bring here and come and join us here. In a couple of minutes, we are starting now. And just wanted to say that we really love the way you guys are cheering up in the room. We love hearing all the laugh and the discussion. And this is really the spirit that we want today. We wanted to make it convivial. In French, we say convivial, you know. We want to keep it very friendly as we will be discussing very interesting subjects. So yes, we want to keep this very friendly and enjoy the time together. It's also a beautiful time for networking, okay? So do not hesitate to ask the person on your right, on your left, who are you? I'm Eunice, and you, what are you doing? You know, it's always a good time to chat and to build strong connection in our community. Thank you so much for being here again. And then in a couple of minutes, I will be coming back, and then we will be starting this. Thank you. It's a pleasure, Miss. Hello, everyone. Bonjour et bienvenue à cet événement spécial. Good morning and welcome to this beautiful and special event. We all love Miss Marci Ien, right? We enjoy having a couple of minutes with her. Thank you so much for honoring by your presence here today to this event. Black women leading the way in Canada's digital economy. Thank you to all the Black ladies, Black queen, Black there today to celebrate each other. Welcome and welcome to. So I wanted to say we invite you to take your seat, but I can see everybody's already seated. So we can skip that part, right? So let's start by reading our territory recognition, right? It's very important for us to acknowledge the territory. So I'm going to do the reading for us right now. We respectfully acknowledge that Toronto is located on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit River, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat, and that many First Nation, Inuit, and Métis live here today, and we are grateful to them. Thank you so much. So as I was saying, what a great day to celebrate Black excellence today. And even better to be here with the ICTC, gathering all these beautiful people here to celebrate, to honor, and to recognize the hard work that Black ladies, Black women has been doing in the digital economy in Canada. Thank you so much. I would like you guys, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, j'aimerais s'il vous plaît vous inviter à applaudir l'honorable ministre Marci Ien qui nous honore de sa présence ici aujourd'hui. Welcome, bienvenue à vous, Madame la ministre. Behind all this beautiful organization, there is a vision, there is a legend. There is someone who really worked hard to build a strong gender equity community. Somebody who really think that is very important to break this barrier and to have finally a gender equity. So I'm so pleased to invite here on the stage the President and CEO of ICTC, Monsieur Namir.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. Thank you, Eunice, for the introduction. It is my sincere pleasure to be here today to welcome you to this conference titled Black Women Leading the Way in Canada's Digital Economy. And obviously, it's an honor and a privilege to have with us the Minister of Women and Gender Equality and Youth, the Honourable Marci Ien, to provide keynote remarks. I'm sure everyone is looking forward to the speech this morning. And this conference, as Eunice mentioned, comes at a critical but also a very opportune time as we celebrate Black History Month, but also celebrate the immense and invaluable contribution of Black women leaders to our economy, but also to our society. And at the same time, you'll notice today we'll be exploring some strategies in terms of to address gender, race, but also intersectional barriers, and build on the good work that you've all done, but also the great strides that the Government of Canada has done in the last number of years on that. Bonjour à toutes et à tous, je suis vraiment ravi de vous voir et de souhaiter le bienvenue à cette conférence intitulée « Les femmes noires à l'avant-garde de l'économie numérique au Canada ». Et puis comme vous allez voir et constater aujourd'hui que nous allons explorer et puis avoir des discussions avec des chefs de file et des experts dans le domaine afin de développer des stratégies pour aider les femmes à réaliser leur plein potentiel dans l'économie numérique au Canada et surtout, et puis en particulier, celles issues de communautés marginalisées. To give you quickly a brief feel of the context of this discussion and a context of the digital economy and the talent needs in Canada, it's fair to say that Canada's digital economy now is home to many of the innovations that tackle the global challenges that are facing our world and our economy as well. From climate change solutions to healthcare, vaccine advancement through AI, telemedicine, right to agriculture and managing precision agriculture in terms of tackling food security and others, and also trade, let's not forget finance and creating inclusivity through open banking and fintech and capabilities, and allowing many of the marginalized communities to be part of our financial and economic system in Canada. The digital economy in Canada now employs around 2.6 million, which is around 13% of the workforce in Canada, quite a large number, and has the lowest unemployment rate and the highest, actually, growth in employment. And that's despite the recent layoffs by the by the large companies in Canada. And the saving grace for Canada is that the large majority of Canada's industry is represented by micro and small medium enterprises that have absorbed much of that layoffs in recent days. So it's a good thing to have. But obviously this digital environment, when we look at some of the projections that we've done, we looked at recently that by 2025 that we require 250,000 digital skills. That much of that has been covered, but it just continues to show that the demand outweighs the supply. And clearly in this digital economy, there's a place for every Canadian to create a career, to have well-paying jobs. But obviously the focus is for all of us to try to figure out how to also attract youth in this agenda, given that they are digital natives, ironically, in that space, but they're also 20% of Canada's population and have a higher unemployment rate than others. So we all have a role to play into attracting more of the youth and all of the talent spectrum in this economy. But to realize our ambitions for Canada's or tomorrow's economy for Canada, we've come to the conclusion, I think we can all say that talent continues to be the essence of any high-performing economy. And I would say that the most precious and valuable competitive advantage that we have as an economy or as a country is the full spectrum of talent and all of its diversity, and the diversity of backgrounds and the diversity of thoughts. Those are the ones that create the new innovations. Those are the ones that create new enterprises, diversify our economy, and open up new markets nationally and internationally. So to explore this further, today is a rare opportunity for us to dialogue and exchange with Black women leaders to try to understand what are the makings and what are the best strategies to create basically a digital future or a shared digital future for Canada. And talking of somebody who has remarkable credentials, very passionate, and I would say even compassionate about this environment, and also a very hardworking minister, it's my sincere privilege and an honor to introduce the Honourable Marci Ien, who is the Minister for Women and Gender Equality and Youth, and a member of Parliament for Toronto Centre, a community she has proudly represented since 2020. She is a passionate advocate for underserved communities in Canada and around the world, with an award-winning journalism and television career spanning 3 decades. As minister, she remains focused on improving the lives of women, girls, youth, and 2S LGBTQI+ communities across Canada. With that, please join me in extending a warm welcome to the Honourable Marci Ien.
I'm shorter. So I'm putting this down. Good morning, everyone. Bon matin. It's so good to be with you this morning. Eunice, thank you for the beautiful beginning and land acknowledgement. We're grateful to be on this land. And Namir, thank you for the kind introduction, and to your team as well. I almost didn't get here, so I'll start with that. Because there's a flight that I need to catch, and so I appreciate you being here this early, and the word is joy, joyful to be with you this morning. I got to shake a couple of your hands. I missed some of you. But I can look into your eyes and know exactly who you are. If I have a superpower, it's that. I look into the eyes, and I'm feeling so many pioneers, so many trailblazers, so many women that are shattering ceilings in this room. And the word that comes to mind is power. But in my world, power means nothing if empathy doesn't go along with it. And so this is a room, yes, full of powerful women who have broken down barriers and shattered those ceilings, and you haven't worked outside the box. You've had to create your own box a lot of the time. And so I thought maybe it might be helpful to share a bit of my story because we have some things in common. So decades and decades ago, because I'm getting old, folks, decades and decades ago, I walked into a newsroom for the first time. And what I can tell you in that space, I didn't see a lot of myself. And when you don't see a lot of yourself, there's this pressure that comes along with that. Because I thought, if I don't do well, if I'm not great, if I don't out-research everybody and do my job well, what will that mean for the others coming behind me? And that was something that was top of mind each and every day. If I'm laying a path, that path needs to be smoother for who comes next. And there's a pressure that comes along with that. I always embraced it, but it's real. And you know, for the 25 years that I was at CTV and I think 31 years in total in the broadcasting and journalism field, that was a constant. Who's next? What kind of path am I creating? I don't ever want there to be a situation where somebody could say, well, Marci really screwed that up. Do we want another? Because that's how I felt a lot of the time. And I don't know whether that's you in this room and if you ever feel that way, but I thought I would share that because it's a lonely space sometimes. When you're an only, there isn't a mentor there that can say, I went through this, let me help you along the way, because you are that person. And so it meant a lot to me, especially in that field, to mentor young people that were just starting out, because I wanted to be what I didn't have. So that was really important. Fast forward to politics, and many of you might be going, why did you do that? Like, what were you thinking? And believe me, my family was, why are you doing that? So it was 2020, and I had left news, and I was on a show called The Social with my best friends in the world, and George Floyd died. And I kind of was in this existential crisis where I was asking myself, I was 50, and I was asking myself, how do I serve better? How can I help? What do I do at this moment? My dad, who was well at the time, talked about coming to Canada with my mom in the 60s and his experiences as a Trinidadian man and as a Trinidadian couple coming here to go to school, and the racism that he felt. And he, long story short, my dad got this scholarship. He went to the University of Toronto, he got a scholarship, and it allowed him to go and do a master's at any university in North America, and he chose Harvard. So my dad was in Massachusetts during the civil rights era as a black man, a Trinidadian man in Massachusetts. And he went through a lot there. And he is always full of hope. When he saw the seas, literal seas of people around the world who took to the streets in 2020 after George Floyd was killed. He said, so you know what, Mars, here's what's different. I'm seeing people of all nations, people of all races, genders, everything come together. And this is hope, this is progress. It's absolutely devastating what happened, but people came together. And that had me thinking, so how do I do more of that? What do I do to bring people together at a time such as this? And you know when you put something out there, but you don't expect anything to happen? That's what happened. So I was having these conversations with myself. What more could I do? And I was on this show. And some months later, I got a phone call from the Prime Minister's office. And I obviously had done interviews through the years and that kind of thing, so I just thought, this is about something coming up. Maybe there's an interview, maybe there's a something, but it wasn't. The question was, might you run? And the response was, run where? Long story short, Toronto Centre had become available. The former finance minister had stepped down, and I got a phone call. And I laughed to myself because I did say in that conversation with myself that maybe I wanted to do something different. How might I serve? What could I do? I always thought that I used my mic well, that I spoke up and I tried to be courageous and do all the things, but this tested me. This was a true test. I interviewed politicians. I never wanted to be one. And they were the worst interviews because they never answered questions. The worst. Hated them. I always got these assignments and I said, no, not Queen's Park. No, not Parliament Hill. Because it was just, they weren't the interviews that gave a lot. And it was a struggle because I had asked for this. And here's the thing about taking a leap of faith where you are. Here's the thing about having courage at a time when you're literally thinking, why am I going or even contemplating going into this space because I'm scared of this space? And having the courage to make that change. I did gut checks with my family, very close friends. My daughter Blaze, who's now 19, said, Mom, if not you, who? And I said, well, you're wise. So I jumped, and I was terrified. I left everything that I knew. I left the comfort of an industry I had been in for decades and was doing well in, and I leaped into the unknown. Am I glad I did? Yes. Has it been scary? Absolutely. Have I learned a ton? Yes. And here's the other thing, and I make mention of this. I was 50 at the time. As women, that's not young. That's not usually the time where people take chances in career and think they'll make a change when they're in a really comfortable place and go into a decidedly uncomfortable one. But I wanted to do that as well because there's a lesson there and a lesson for others that we're never done. We're not done. And I'm certainly not done. And I'm staring down 55. And I'm certainly not done. So there's that. I say this in this room because you are trailblazers. You are in a space that is not occupied in a huge way by women. And I want to encourage you to take those chances, to know you're not done, to know that sometimes you've got to create your own space. You've got to take steps that you're afraid to take. And the proof is in the work. Sometimes it takes longer, but the proof is in the work. Go towards the fear. So at events like this and the amazing work that ICTC does, it's just a reminder, you know, that each and every one of you is inspiring the next generation of young women. The people I talked about, that I still try to help because I believe it's my duty to, and it's my honor to, really. I learn so much. I think they teach me so much more than I could possibly teach them. But there are people looking at you, and because they're looking at you and you're doing what you're doing, they're saying, I can do that. I can be that. And I have to tell you as well, you will never know who you impact. There are people that have come up to me on the subway, okay, and said to me that you helped me learn English. And I said, pardon? He said, yeah, because I came to this country and I was from Jamaica and, you know, I was speaking patois, but I wanted to, and I was like, okay, well, that's fine, right? Or from a French-speaking country or another country, and they said, I watched your newscast and you helped me. Who's to know? I didn't know that. I was sitting in front of a camera every day. I had no idea. There's impact. There's so many stories. So I want to tell you this, that each and every one of you is an inspiration, and you may not know it. And that's a bit of a responsibility because you got to walk a certain way, but it's true. You know, we know that there's progress in STEM, in tech, in entrepreneurship. We know that having more women-led businesses is so very important. It creates dynamic and vibrant communities, and we need much more of that. But we need to keep going because we're 51% of this country. And yet, only 18% of private businesses are women-owned. 24% of corporate board seats in Canada are occupied by women. And for Black and racialized women, Indigenous women, those numbers are a lot lower. And we can't sit until that changes. And this is where allyship comes in, because it's not just us. So thank you, Namir. It's not just us and others, but those that see this and want to change it. So this is exactly why, as a government, we invest in organizations such as ICTC, who do incredible work, make sure that Canada's digital economy is not just equitable, but it's inclusive. And so today, I was going to say happy, but I'm going to use that word joyful again, to announce $960,000 in federal funding for the Information Communications Technology Council, ICTC. The funding is going to support changing the narrative, unleashing the full potential of women-owned enterprises program, and it's all about fostering innovation and enhancing workplace diversity, tackling systemic barriers, which is so important, experienced by women entrepreneurs, with a focus on Black and official language minority communities. So thank you to ICTC for the work, and it is a pleasure and privilege to support you. Thank you so much. Just to close, I want to thank everyone who had a hand in organizing today's event and dealing with my very bad timelines. I so appreciate you. I appreciate your work. Remember to step forward and step towards the fear. Step towards the things you don't want to do, because that's where the learning is. That's where you learn the most. That's where you have the most impact. It's the stuff you don't want to do. And to the people that feel isolated or alone, maybe in this room, you might see, in fact, you will see the rewards later, because there will be young people coming up to you, younger than you are in this room, because some of you are young, and saying, I saw you, and because I saw you, I knew that I could. Thank you so very much. It's such a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of this incredible day. Thanks.
What an inspiration. Wow, wow, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for the Honourable Minister Marci Ien. I love what she said. Don't give up. There is somebody around looking for you, and one day the person will come and see, I see you, that's why I want to become like you. Very inspiring, right? So right now we are going to take a break, okay? A short break, or long, depends. A short break, and we will have take some picture with the Honourable Marci Ien. Thank you so much.